Hey everybody, we're doing another one of our account structuring videos. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the past couple that we've done. Overall, we've gotten some pretty positive feedback about what we're doing here. So, we're trying to be consistent about bringing you at least one of these every month. So this month, we are checking out a little bit different of a business, and we've got Corey here, one of our kind of account support guys. And this is some business that he's familiar with as his other gig is as an EMT. So Corey, you want to just tell us a little bit about this business?
Yeah. So drip hydration is mobile IV therapy, as you can see from their website. There are a lot of really good uses for this type of product. And not only that, this whole market is emerging and it's more accepted and becoming really popular really fast. So this was a great business, I think, to look at for this type of exercise. And I love the versatility of it. You could use it from, say, recovering from chemotherapy and cancer treatment to help keep you going between treatments, things like that, or sports recovery and things like that. I'm planning to use it for fire academy recovery, and that's really physically intensive. So this there's some product sets in here that are really good for those type of things. And then wellness and beauty, that's ever growing market, and it's already pretty huge, and this is kind of its own market segment that's emerging with these type of products. And from like NAD infusions, which helps with just a lot of body functions, hair, skin, and nails, things like that. It also helps with brain function and just kind of the wellness market where people just want to feel better. They want to feel at their top, at their best. And there's a lot of great products here that they offer that are good for a wide variety of uses. So,
Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm not sure what I think about this creative here. I don't know what you're trying to say with this, but that's kind of a different topic. Yeah, definitely
yeah.
thing. I don't know, this kind of premium healthcare space. This is not like an insurance-based thing. I don't think you can walk into your local Kaiser Permanente clinic and get this. But yeah,
I
very
don't know actually. Some of this potentially, depending on the service you're getting,
right.
might be covered under insurance.
And so this is a thing where like someone comes to you and like sets you up with an infusion, right? This is kind of like a kind of product slash service.
Exactly. Yeah. So what you'll do is you'll log in, you'll set up your account and everything, and then you'll request to book, an appointment for a specific service or product. And then you do need like a required, I guess, good bill of health or like some sort of checkup before they will send someone out to administer any services. That's between you and your physician and the physician that is running that particular business.
Right.
So,
Okay.
mhm.
So the way that this is quite a bit different than some of the other businesses that we've looked at. So last week we looked at OnX, which is an app. We looked at MadRock and Filson. Those are all basically e-commerce brands where the whole user experience is online outside of the fact that, for Filson and MadRock, something shows up at your door. This is because it's a service and like a service provider of some kind has to like physically come to you. It's quite a bit different. So what we're kind of looking at here is that if we're talking about running a paid campaign, like the locations are really going to matter. So, we're in Washington State. I'm in the Seattle area. So, I need to be able to see like, okay, these services, these specific SKUs, these are going to be relevant to me in a particular area. So, if I'm partying one night, I've got a hangover, and this is a hangover cures near me is like one of the search queries that you might be looking for. So different nature of the search query. So let's start thinking about let's do Google actually. So the geo targeting, this is gonna be interesting because let's go back to locations. They're in 65 different cities worldwide, and this is basically going to kind of affect the way that the campaign is going to be structured. We'll just kind of assume like let's do the West Coast states, so Washington, Oregon, California, right? So geo targeting, and in this case, I think search is probably going to be relevant in all three cases. And those are all going to be, geo-targeted to the specific regions. So within one of these search campaigns, we would set up, for example, let's take a look at Washington's location. So Washington, Bellingham, Seattle, Spokane. Being from Washington, we know that these are really kind of three distinct markets. So Seattle and Spokane are almost 300 miles apart. So those are different markets. And then Bellingham is an hour and a half-ish north from Seattle. So those are going to be distinct markets that you may want to target separately, but we don't understand exactly how much search query volume is going through this stuff. For simplicity's sake and today's report, we'll just keep it to the Washington state area. And the way that we would probably target that campaign is to say like, hey, 25 miles of Seattle, 25 of Spokane and Bellingham. So I'm going to kind of just add a note here. So 25 plus from. All right. The search intent here, we could definitely do brand. I feel like actually if we did brand, this would be, it wouldn't really matter where the location of the user is. So in this case, a brand campaign could be targeted nationally. 65 different cities in the US. I think that's broad enough to where like a national targeting. And if you're also searching drip hydration, you probably have some kind of familiarity with the brand. So I wouldn't be too worried about geo-targeting there. The non-brand campaigns, certainly these are going to want to be targeted to non-brand and geo-restricted.
Absolutely, yeah.
So conversion goal here, it looks like on the site, let's see if we can book here. Okay, it does look like you can book online. I'm not going to dox myself, so we'll just leave it at that. So that is, we can have that as sales. And in the search query, I think this is where it gets a little bit interesting. And let me add a couple rows here so we can, kind of have some idea of what sort of search query. So let's go back to the website. And, the way I like to think about this is the search intent is basically the user saying, I have a problem. And what we are able to do is we are able to say like, okay, we've got a solution for you. So, if someone does search like, hey, NAD plus therapy near me, that's an easy one. We can do that sort of thing. Vitamin injections, hair loss treatments, basically every one of these. Oh, this is shipped to you. So you would treat this almost exactly like any e-commerce. That's a little bit less interesting relative to kind of what we've done before. So we'll dig into this too much. The in-home services, this is probably what we're going to be looking at. For the sake of simplicity, let's stick to the vitamin therapies. Energy boost, hangover, dehydration. I mean, hangover, dehydration, you probably group into, one type of search intent. Hangover cures near me. That kind of search query would probably make sense. So we could probably do like and similar search queries. Did that. Okay, let's see. All inclusive. That's a little bit unclear. It does seem like the immunity and yeah, there's two kind of immunity things. So that would be kind of another category to hit. So what would you call that, Corey?
I would just say, yeah, just immune boost. I would like
All right, let's call it that.
immune, yeah, immunity boost treatment. That's
This
good.
is basically interest prospecting. And then NAD plus, I mean, I think that probably has enough of its own search query. So NAD.
And maybe beauty treatment or something like that.
Yep. In these search queries, I think it's going to be really important to, because if we just search for NAD, you're going to get all of these kind of product related queries, and you don't want to, ideally, you don't compete with those. So if we did like, what? Oh, okay. The fix for your fatigue, treatment of chronic fatigue, right? So we're getting some of this stuff. Oh, there's drip hydration.
Yep.
But the idea is, you want to get this kind of search query. I guess Google thinks NAD might be like a mental illness. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with what that is.
Yeah, Google's not always right about that kind of thing. So, of course, I'm not sure what that means either. Okay, so the interesting thing here is, so the conversion event would be this booking. Let's see if there's any other conversion events that are on the site here that we need to know about.
I mean, a membership.
Oh, right up here. Let's see what this is about.
Yeah, so you can get on a monthly.
Yeah, let's see how this conversion event goes. Membership sign up. Okay, so there's a form submission here that we can look at. Oh, and you can just convert right here. Okay, so this is, I think, a different type of conversion event that would have to be separately tracked. So depending on, yeah, the cost of this is quite a bit more. So yeah, I mean, maybe another campaign for, so, I mean, here, like a white glove NAD service. And of course that would require a good amount of keyword research. This is a relatively niche kind of experience. I guess that would be technically a sales goal, but with the asterisk of like, this is, but that's a particular kind of special sale that's happening. So good to know that that's happening. And I guess if we were going to expand into Oregon and California, I think we would basically duplicate this campaign structure more or less. And then, the questions I would have for, drip hydration, if they were our client, we would say like, okay, do you provide the exact same services everywhere? And so the different campaigns, or I guess this would be a single campaign with different ad groups in here. But each campaign, the ad groups within each regional campaign those would all be based on whether or not that product or service is available in that region. So there's a good amount of coordination that would have to happen with the client, because obviously if we don't do NAD treatments in Oregon, then you don't want to advertise there. So,
Yeah.
Just a relevant piece of information for any of these regions. And obviously when you've got as many locations that you can serve as they do, it's a pretty complex account. So I think that's how we would look at the Google side of things. In terms of like what I would spend on something like this, let's see if we can find out what cost per click on something like that runs. With the tool, keyword planner. NAD infusion near me. So NAD IV therapy. Okay, so that's an interesting piece that we're learning here. So the keyword that seems to be used is IV therapy.
Yep.
And okay, so top of page bid in the low range is $150. Top range, see, anywhere between 5 to, call it 850. These are pretty expensive clicks.
Mm-hmm.
So if we wanted to serve for, let's do a little bit of napkin math here. Let's call it 2,500 impressions per month. If we want to serve for, let's call it 30% of them, or let's serve ads for 50% of them, right? So that's divided by 2. And a good click-through rate on something like this would be, I don't know, let's call it 10%. So we're doing 125 clicks times, let's just do the maximum, so 850. Right, so that's easily $1,000 just for this one query. So we're looking at, and I think this is all, yeah, this is just for the United States. So, it'll scale down with how many regions you're doing. We say 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4,000. Let's just multiply by 4. So that's your nationwide monthly budget for these 4 services. If this scaled down based on region, or if this was going to be your West Coast campaigns, let's just call it a third. All right, so you're looking at, let's just call it $1,500 a month for this campaign. 1,500 divided by 30, so your daily budget is going to be about $50. Right. So running your non-brand campaigns for the West Coast, $50 a day. If that's 25 in California, 10 and 15 in Washington, Oregon, that seems like a reasonable budget. Of course, your mileage may vary if you're trying to reach more of those impressions, and then of course this is all just napkin math, but just our thought process on how to come up with a budget like that. Brand. Oh, I guess we can just see. Okay, 4,400 queries. It looks like there's a good amount of competition on that. So let's go middle of the range there. And oh, wow, you can get really massacred on brand terms here. Because if you're trying to own your search query, and you're paying, call it $10 a click, and you're trying to serve for the majority of those impressions, that's going to be really expensive. I would really double check to see if that makes sense. As you can see here, they've got pretty strong SEO. So your organic listing is here. They've got the knowledge graph here. It looks like they've filled out their local stuff, and their product feed is, running in here. So this is all super solid. Based on this, I would guess that it's maybe not super necessary to run a brand term campaign, but obviously, because I've been to the site before, I'm getting some bias onto the search results page. So your mileage may vary on that. It looks like all the other knowledge graph and organic listings here are relevant. So their Instagram account, their YouTube account, or it looks like reviews on their YouTube account are coming up. So, okay. I think that's a good quick look at Google. I know, Corey, you had some ideas about Meta in terms of like the audiences that we would target. So I'll let you kind of chime in and to see like kind of what you were thinking in terms of audiences to target.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential, I think, for different specific audience testing with this brand, and something like 28 to 40-year-old like wedding audience. It can be pretty common for people to book these services as, say, like post-wedding day hangover treatment for like, or it being a gift for the wedding party.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of kind of creative ways we could use audiences
Right.
on Meta with
On
this.
some level, it's like based on the service and product that they're selling, there's like a specific audience for each product, right? So the person that's doing therapy is totally different than the, hangover product or the NAD or beauty product. So yeah, there's basically every single product has a different audience. So let's interest, we could say like drinking beer and cocktails, right? Or a wedding audience. And this, oops, we can remove that.
And then maybe like a beauty audience.
Yep. Beauty, cosmetics.
Yeah, or yeah. And then health and wellness maybe is a good fourth.
Lots of chia seeds and wheatgrass shots. That's kind of what I'm envisioning.
Absolutely.
The interest prospecting campaigns. And I think we could also go, let's call this just various. And what I could see is this would run a little bit differently than we typically do with our campaigns, because the interest could almost be the ad set, and then the campaign would be the geography. So you would prospect in the market, whether that's like Seattle, Spokane, Bellingham, or you could lump those all into one campaign depending on like what your budget looks like. And then the ad sets within them would be these different interest audiences. And then the ads would be, I think, around a particular service. So we would do the hangover hydration, those products. It's like almost like you want to say like you're the person that still parties, but you're responsible about it, right?
Yeah. You don't let the hangover get you down.
Exactly, right. So basically you're over 35 and you still drink and you have responsibilities, right? That's kind of what ad that you're going to build. The beauty and cosmetics, this is like totally different purpose, right? So which products were those? Let's look really quick.
The Myers cocktail, I believe.
Okay, B vitamins, biotin, glutathione. I don't know what half of that is.
It's like, like the
Your skin and nails.
Collagen peptides?
Okay. Yep.
It's like those type of proteins.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could show, like, I could see an ad like with this product, maybe in a carousel with other, I don't know, people rubbing stuff on their face and lotion and that kind of thing. Or, people
Exactly.
beautiful. That working in a carousel, right? So let's see. And then, oh, the wellness you were saying, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So immune boost, this, whatever this all-inclusive thing is, B vitamins, something I can't pronounce, magnesium.
Zinc. Yeah, magnesium and zinc are going to be like the big
Mm,
differentiators there,
right.
and the biotin.
Okay.
Uh,
So then, now the thing is, like, I think there's like an overarching value proposition that we can add to, right? Because
mhm.
I mean, some of this stuff, like you can, I've got, vitamin D that you can take, but this service and having someone come out to you, that would be something that I would want to add in as well. So,
Mhm.
you know,
So I would say the hangover hydration piece is less downtime is like the value proposition, I think. And
so Corey, that is kind of like in here. So like recovery from wedding, less downtime.
mhm,
But like as
yeah,
opposed to I just want to drink some Gatorade, like what's like the big value proposition for like this service specifically? You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. You're getting hydrated faster and like more properly, I would say, than just like regularly consuming.
Okay.
Um, and it, I guess, in a way,
Like professional service.
yeah, it could sort of minimize potential things. Like it'll help flush your system faster because you're not processing as much, or it'll start counteracting maybe what your body's processing.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to figure out the best way to articulate that. Um,
Well, I mean, it's like medical grade service, like in the comfort of your own home, right?
exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, like
And I think for the wellness piece, the thing is, it's performing your best because
oh yeah, there's kind of like a enhanced performance kind of angle on it, right?
yeah, like the whole brain fog thing and just fatigue. And a lot of it is aimed towards minimizing that. And that's a big issue for a lot of people at various points in their life.
Well, I mean, there's a reason I'm drinking this coffee, right?
Yeah, total. I mean, yeah, I get it too.
Yeah. So I
And
mean, the
the
beauty in the
beauty piece is just looking your best, I think.
right, and
Yeah.
then this kind of I imagine if you're hungover, not having to like leave your home to get like professional like anti-hangover service, I'm sure is fantastic.
Mhm.
Some of these things, like I don't know that anybody wants to like leave their house to get needles put in them. So, just the comfort of like being able to do this in your own home. I think that's a
Yeah.
great sell.
Mhm.
Okay. So I think we've got sort of these individual products, static ads, looking good for those. We can also do a carousel of various beauty products or product categories. But going over to this site, there's also, I wonder what other like overall services.
So there's like a mental health component with that they kind of are
Right.
putting it as with the like ketamine therapy. Um, like even their like with their graphic kind of shows like
Yeah. So there's like uh right. So I could see like a carousel
mhm.
doing like, three categories of products maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I don't know, do they have any video? Let's scoot over to their social media.
Yeah.
See what this looks like. Oh, okay. So they're just prepping for a festival, and okay. So I guess if you're planning to do some drinking, you would plan to do some recovery.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
kind of like a lifestyle.
I could kind of see this working as an ad, but also that is an odd place to get an infusion. But I guess
Yeah.
that's what makes it eye catching. So potentially something with this content.
Also, the bag is a little low. I think it's supposed to be higher than that.
Oh, I mean, I don't know anything about medicine, so okay. So this is kind of cute, right? Yeah. So let's add that in there. The like
Mhm,
right. And so
mhm.
I mean, what's the context of that piece of content, right? It's oh, okay. So it's about Vegas. It's probably about drinking, so that you can link users to
It's the
uh
savior.
yeah. So that video would be for like a hydration product. Right?
A Vegas enjoyer's best friend.
Okay. Yeah, and I think the other thing I think that's worth mentioning is like this stuff is not cheap,
Mhm,
although you can pay for it with your HSA, so it's tax deductible, I guess. Um, I think one thing that would be worth noting is, you're targeting probably a relatively affluent customer, someone that can afford premium healthcare. So within Facebook, targeting, your top 25% of incomes within a zip code, or, adding keywords in Google where it's like premium healthcare. Some of it is implied by like, a search query like at home, infusion treatment. Like that's probably just the assumption that anybody searching for that is able to afford it. So that's implied there. But we're definitely talking about high end service. Let's see. We did take a look at the Instagram. Let's look at their Facebook. Let's see. Looks like they're producing some content around the memberships. Kind of what we just mentioned about price range. That seems to be true.
mhm.
Let's see. Anything else worth noting? Yeah, I mean, honestly, like this post would probably make a decent ad.
Mhm.
This is kind of funny.
Right. It seems like they're going for a particular lifestyle that they're marketing towards.
Yep.
Um, but I do think it definitely has real world applications for a lot of other particular people, especially in different age segments than they're necessarily appealing to
Yep.
from what it looks like. Um, and just from what I've seen through my partner doing these infusions, their type of clientele has been really wide ranging in ages.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, so that's a great point. I forgot we forgot to kind of talk about retargeting campaigns.
mhm,
Because this is like a high end service, it's pretty pricey. You might not get someone on the first try, particularly in Facebook, because you're kind of hitting this user and getting that impression when they might not necessarily be ready to purchase, but making sure to retarget that user. So purchasers, you've used the service before, you've been to their website before, or you've engaged with their social campaigns in some way. I think those would be all really good. I don't think anybody just says like, oh, I'm going to drop like $500 on, an IV infusion and just have it ready to go. Getting and reaching that user and reminding them that they exist when they're ready to book is probably going to be really key, which makes the retargeting campaigns important.
mhm.
So, yeah, I think that was quite a bit. Anything else to add there, Corey?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Cool experiment.
For sure. Really, really interesting business. Lots of different product lines, lots of kind of geographical constraints, which makes things interesting. And then, of course, like another interesting kind of brand and market segment. So all very different than kind of the accounts that we've looked in the past. So yeah, thanks for bringing that to us, Corey.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. If you enjoyed the video, do the usual like and subscribe, and then follow us on all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X or Twitter, and YouTube here. All right. Thanks, everyone.